LaForest earned one tonight for her legal analysis of the case, and as did you, Attorney McRitchie, for digging deep with the 1880 reference. Appreciated that. I just wanted to note, first, I respect you and your service to the city. I thank you for that. I value your opinion. While I don't disagree with it, I don't think your beef is with this council and the action that we're going to take tonight. Your legal dispute is with the solicitor's opinion, and I would suspect that when you were the solicitor, you would have advised the council, maybe not the same way that Attorney Timmons did this evening, but to the same effect, that we would be bound by the solicitor's opinion. And then lastly, I just want to note, in your opening sentence of your January 11th, 2016 letter, where you say you are writing on behalf of William P. Harris, you note that Mr. Harris is entitled to be appointed to that position. I don't support that, and I'll be voting to call for the special election tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Calhoun. Further discussion? Seeing none, Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Council Order 2016-011. Call of the election, special election 16 City Council. Council Kane.
Yes.
Council Crowe.
Yes.
Council DeBon.
Yes.
Council Finn.
Yes.
Council LaForest.
Yes.
Council Liang.
Yes.
Council Palmucci.
Yes.
President Hughes.
Yes.
The motion is adopted. Next item, assistant to this, designation of polling places for the April 5th, 2016 preliminary election and the May 3rd, 2016 City Council special election. Same 5 polling places as November of 2014 city election.
Is there a motion to call, made by Councilor Calhoun, seconded by Councilor Liang? Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Council Kane.
Yes.
Council Crowe.
Yes.
Council DeBon.
Yes.
Council Finn.
Yes.
Council LaForest.
Yes.
Council Liang.
Yes.
Council Palmucci.
Yes.
President Hughes.
Yes.
Designated polling places. One more, accompanying order. Adopting election calendar for the Ward 6 special election beginning January 19th and ending on May 3rd with the Ward 6 city election. Preliminary election on April 5th.
Motion from Councilor Calhoun, seconded by Councilor Liang. Call the roll.
Council Kane.
Yes.
Council Crowe.
Yes.
Council DeBon.
Yes.
Council Finn.
Yes.
Council LaForest.
Yes.
Council Liang.
Yes.
Council Palmucci.
Yes.
President Hughes.
Yes.
8 members. That takes care of the matters. Number 13, Council Order 2016-014. An order from President Hughes, creation of a new city council committee to be known as Community Engagement Committee.
Maybe we could, on the item, I just wanted to briefly talk about the inception of this particular committee after talking with some of my colleagues, in particular the newer colleagues on our council, that as a whole, we don't typically engage the community and those new residents that we've talked about, that we've acknowledged coming to the city, and also those folks that maybe in the past have not been reached out to by this body as a whole. Certainly we do that as ward councilors, reach out to communities and to certain neighborhoods in community meetings. And this was an opportunity, I thought, to get the body engaged in the community of the city. So I want to thank those folks who have agreed, in particular Councilor Liang, who is going to be chairing this committee, and I look forward to establishing setting our first meeting and really getting out. This is a committee, or I envisioned this committee, and I know we've discussed it, Councilor Liang, Councilor Palmucci, and myself have discussed it as being really a committee of action, and really getting out there and trying to meet the people and engage those newer residents, those people who've been here maybe for a long time who don't typically interact with us on that community level. And again, we have acknowledged in the past that we have so many new folks coming to the city thanks to the great attributes of the city. So this is a way for us to really get involved with them as a goals. So I want to thank Councilor Liang for her willingness to steward this particular effort, and I look forward to working with her. Thank you. Do we need a roll call? I think we need a roll call
Sure.
on that. So,
No,
Mr. Clark.
On the creation of the new council committee, community engagement committee, Council Tank.
Yes.
Council Crowe.
Yes.
Council Devon.
Yes.
Council Tank.
Yes.
Council Song. Council Yang.
Yes.
Council Calhoun.
Yes.
President Hughes.
Yes.
8
Next.
Next order, 2016-015, an order which previously appeared on the last council session calendar related to the underground economy, the misclassification of employees on construction sites. Councilor Finn.
Yes, thank you, Madam President, Mr. Shea. This actually was an order that I filed last year, and specifically what it really deals with, I'm happy also it's being co-sponsored by Councilor DeBona. And what it really addresses is, given the fact that there's so much development, particularly residential development, that's occurring within the city, that it becomes very important to understand some of the subcontracting types of difficulties that can go on. We actually received some testimony to that effect during the Avalon hearings and the like, of people who are not getting paid. But it's also ways of people avoiding paying taxes, avoiding healthcare issues, etc. And it's not strictly, an issue about unions per se, because also it affects non-union shops and their ability to compete as well. Because if you have people who aren't paying salaries, who are paying under the table, or doing different types of contracting schemes in order to avoid that, you have a very difficult situation. You also have a very difficult situation in terms of just even the quality of construction that can occur. We have community values here that are very strong. The city of Quincy, we are the founders, the founding place of the International Laborers Union. We hold to certain values, and oftentimes our ordinances reflect those values. But sometimes it's difficult, particularly in terms of enforcing some of those things and being able to limit what we consider to be practices that impact working families and ordinary people. And in many cases, a crime of what they do oftentimes with some of the undocumented labor that can participate in some of these projects. But my hope is to have some hearings and specifically some presentations on the underground economy, including perhaps representation from the Attorney General's office as well. But what I would like to do at this point simply is to refer that to the Oversight Committee. But if we could, I would like to schedule that at its earliest moment. We could actually have that presentation before the City Council.
Thank you. All right. Refer to oversight, and I know we'll get to that, and Council Manager is going to be chair of oversight. So,
Next item is also from Council Finn, order regarding MBTA proposed development on North Quincy Red Line Station parking lot. Requesting an update.
Council Finn. I don't know how to put you on.
That's okay, I am now.
Okay.
My good friend and colleague Doug Petro, I've learned to stare.
I don't control either.
But no, this actually grew out of reading the State House News Service. I had noticed that MBTA was having a closed meeting, an executive session, where they were discussing the RFR related to the development of the North Quincy Red Line Station. And that got me thinking in terms of the fact that I had known Councilor McNamee and I had been asked to assume some of the responsibilities related to Ward 6 during the present time. And Councilor McNamee, prior to his death, had actually sent out a letter to the community mentioning the fact that an RFR had been administered, or had been sent out. I believe that there are probably some proposals that are forthcoming very shortly. And what I'm really just suggesting is that we engage both the mayor's office and the MBTA in some of the issues associated with this development, because aside just from the North Quincy, which again, I have calls in and I've been waiting to be briefed by MBTA as well as that relates to that, but we also have the issue that many of you I'm sure heard on the campaign trail about the status of the Quincy Center garage and the proposed development for the future there. So I'm simply putting this in as a resolution again that I would think would best go to oversight, and that if we can try to engage both the mayor's office and MBTA in some discussion, and just see if there is going to be, particularly in the North Quincy, engagement on the part of the citizenry in some way in that process.
Thank you, Councilor Friend. So just to oversight, do you want to try to refer the mayor as well?
Yeah, and copies will be sent to
Copies.
you.
Very well. Thank you. Moving along.
Next item, number 17. This is also an order being carried over. It's an order that Barber Terrace, that we review a petition from residents of Barber Terrace to become a public way. Barber Terrace is in Ward 1. It's referred from Council Finn and LaForest in 2015. On to the engineering department. He says there are a number of steps of this.
And I know Councilor Forrest as well.
Yeah, first off, I just want to commend the work of Councilor Forrest. As we know, this is always a long process. We had introduced it at the end of last year, and I was kind of under the assumption once that process was started, we were fine. I was checking with that, but I think what the clerk has decided was that it was best at this point to simply file it again. And we just need to stay on top of that and move that process. Because again, and I have to be, I've been through this before, this is a slow process. But at the same time, we need to really make sure we get it moved.
Thank you, Councilor Friend. Councilor Forrest.
Thank you, Madam President. So I just want the adult viewers to see this on the agenda, right? Tonight isn't the acceptance. This is again part of the process. We received communication, I think, from some of the neighbors last year, petition relative to accepting Barber Terrace as a private gravel road to become a city street. So it is something that legal looks at. It is something that engineering. We do not have a timeline turnaround from the administration on where that stands or any recommendation one way or the other at this point. It's just kind of, it's in the pending, in the pending file, and we're looking for an update. So if, through you to the mayor's office, if there are any updates that should be provided to residents, I will await that information from your office. But just for those viewers who are concerned about Barber Terrace, just to clarify, this is not a forward movement. This is a kind of lateral, just putting it back in play with Councilor Finn.
Thank you, Councilor Forrest. Refer to Public
Works
Works.
Committee and Engineering.
Public Works and Engineering referral. All right, next item is.
Next item is number 17, Council Order 2016018. This is also a reintroduction. This is a resident petition to the Mass Department of Highway for highway noise barriers in West Quincy. We also have 3 letters under communication saying relative to this matter, but it needs to be renumbered for 2016. Council comment.
I have nothing to add. I think it speaks for itself. Well, this is a petition brought by residents of West Quincy who are seeking noise barriers. We accepted the petition, referred it to the governor and the state delegation. I know the state delegation is initially working on the letters that are coming in correspondences are their response to the petition and their efforts to secure funding at the state level for this. So I trust that process will play out at the state level. Thank you.
Yeah. All right, so we will refer this back to the Oversight Committee? Or? Sure. Yeah. Next item, Mr. Clerk.
Next item is number 18 on our agenda. It's a gift. Eastern Bank, Peter Dana, City of Quincy, accept the following gift. Congregations attached. And herein set forth. Donor Eastern Bank.
I'm not going to waive the reading.
I'm sorry, these are various receipts from Eastern Bank through the mayor's charity doctrine.
All right, motion.
Accept the gift and send it out letter of thanks.
Okay, motion, accept the gift by Councilor Kroll, seconded by Councilor Duana. All those in favor?
I need to call
Oh,
roll
you
on
get it.
gifts, I'm sorry. Counselor King.